Welcome to Tech Talk, y'all.
Hello, and welcome to Tech Talk, y'all, episode 410. I'm Sanjay Parekh.
And I'm Adam Walker. This episode is brought to you by TogetherLetters and Edgewise.Media. If you need a podcast or you need to stay together and not on the craziness of social media, check out TogetherLetters.com.
And
pretty good,
we've
right?
got a lot of fun stuff actually coming with Together Letters in the coming weeks. So now is a good time as any to jump on there and create a group and talk with your friends.
And it's, like a safe space. There's less insanity, unless your group of friends is particularly insane, in which case there's more insanity.
Don't invite the insane friends.
Yeah, just leave them out.
Invite the sane friends,
that's
and then
correct.
you're good.
That's the way. Yes,
that's
Now, we do have less articles today. That does not mean it'll be a shorter show.
No.
It just means that there are less articles for us to discuss.
That means we're going to talk longer about less stuff.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes. We got some weird and wacky, and of course, Tech Recs at the end, so stay tuned for that. But let's get started. You want to kick us off?
Yeah, talking about the insane, Iran's internet blackout may become permanent with access for elites only. So apparently they have now started issuing what they are being deemed internally as white SIM cards.
Right.
Those have unfettered access to the internet.
Yep.
And everybody else has none.
Yeah.
So there you go. So apparently a bunch of Starlink terminals were smuggled in as well. And very few times you will hear me say good things about Elon Musk.
Right.
All access to the internet via Starlink terminals inside of Iran are free. They don't have to pay for them.
I love that.
But the Iranian government is also jamming them.
Yeah.
And so it's a whole cat and mouse thing. There's been patches and updates and, trying to get around the jamming and whatnot. But this is not a great situation. Like this, there's a couple of countries where this has happened. Myanmar, Burma.
Yeah.
When the coups have happened, they cut themselves off the internet. North Korea, as is well known, is very controlled in terms of internet access.
Yep.
There's very limited access there. These countries all have one thing in common. They do not progress that well because they don't have access to information.
It limits their growth. It limits their economy. It limits their individuals, their community. I mean, it's so profoundly limiting. And on top of all that, I mean, they're doing it essentially to sort of hide what's going on inside the country.
Yeah.
But can you anymore? I mean, can you really? I mean, it feels like somebody's going to get information out no matter what you do at this point. So I don't know.
There's almost always a way. I mean, the only upside of any of these things is like, look, the reason they're doing it is because they want to control all their people. So
yeah.
That's their upside. That's not a good upside, I don't think, but
crappy upside.
That's their upside.
Yeah.
So unfortunate, and hopefully things get better in Iran.
Yeah.
And better internet access in the future.
Speaking of crappy upsides, Microsoft gave FBI keys to unlock encrypted data, exposing major privacy flaw. Because I mean, there's nothing like great security and encryption like giving the keys away. Like I prefer actually to. I've got like 16 locks on my front door. And at night, I lock all the doors and then I throw the keys into the front yard is what I do. Like that's how I do it. It's great.
Well, that makes you very safe because that means you can't get out. So you're
that's right.
You're locked in. That's why you keep calling me saying, "Hey, Sanjay, can you come over?"
It's okay.
I need
the back
some
door.
help.
No, the back door doesn't have a lock, so I just walk out the back door after. Yeah, see, I got it all figured out, dude. I got it all.
So you're running it the same way Microsoft does. The back door doesn't have a lock. They just have a complete backdoor access to it. So what happened here is BitLocker, their built-in encryption that makes your device safe.
Yeah.
They can break into anytime they want if you submit the BitLocker keys to the cloud, which they tell you should because, for security.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wait, that doesn't.
I don't like this.
Right.
This doesn't feel good to me. It feels like a bad idea. Yeah.
So here's the thing. Don't rely on big companies to protect your data because
they won't. They're not gonna. No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Talking about somebody else that's trying to protect your data, even though they're getting investigated. The FBI says it's investigating Signal. Should users worry? So, okay. I have lots of thoughts, as you can imagine, on this.
I'm so surprised.
Yeah. I almost never have thoughts on Signal or
I
anything.
can't believe we're even talking about Signal.
I know. It's not like
what is this
one
again?
of the first episodes of Tech Talk Y'all, I talked about Signal or
Right,
anything
yeah.
8 years ago.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. So Signal does have access to who has talked to who,
Okay.
and under subpoena, they would have to release that information.
Right.
But they don't have access to the actual content of the messages because those are all end-to-end encrypted.
Right.
Here's the silver lining, I think, that happens from this.
Okay.
Because they are now potentially under pressure, I bet you that there are people inside of Signal that are going to be like, how can we have even less information? And let's figure out a way to make this even more bulletproof. Because that is inevitably what ends up happening in these situations. So you know what? My answer is here. Come on, FBI, go for it, because it's going to make for a better Signal at some point.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Speaking of things that are apparently not locked down, TikTok is now collecting even more data about its users. Here are the 3 biggest changes. Now, a couple thoughts here. First of all,
this is like a day after the whole U.S. control of the thing happened.
So a whole lot came out after the U.S. took control. So first of all, this particular article was password protected, so you're going to have to fill us in on the 3 biggest changes. Second of all, I saw a bunch of rumblings. There was a new privacy policy, and people started freaking out about the new privacy policy. They're like, oh, they're collecting this data and this data. But then somebody was like, no, that's the same. They were collecting, it might be worded differently. They were collecting all this before, so that really hasn't changed. Then there was a bunch of people saying that a lot of political stuff is now being throttled on the app, whereas it was not being throttled before. Now, I'll say this, okay? I saw the privacy policy. I accepted it because that's what I'm going to do. I'm not.
Did you read it?
I'm not. No, I didn't read it. Have we met, dude? Come on. Like, really? Did you ask me that question? That's like me being like, Sanjay, you have the choice between a 2-digit password and a 35-digit password. Sanjay, which one are you going to choose? Like, come on. Like, of course so anyway, so I accepted the terms because of course I'm going to. But then I have not seen any limiting of information. I've seen a lot of videos on the political spectrum that were very disturbing on the app in recent days. So I cannot attest to that. And it makes me wonder to what degree people are seeing sort of ghosts in the code, as it were, versus what's really happening, right? That's my, I guess that's the question I have. So what did the article say, since you're, non-paywalled and all that stuff?
So 3 things that have changed. They've added precise location tracking. I think that is new. It was approximate location tracking. Now it's precise.
Okay.
That's concerning potentially.
Yeah, I don't like that.
It tracks AI interactions. The AI interactions were not mentioned before in the privacy policy. They are now. And they've expanded their ad network as well. These are all 3 things that are not good changes in my view. And to your other point, the whole political thing, I did read the articles. We did not tag anything for our episode today. I didn't think we were going to talk about it, but Phineas, who is related to, is that Billie Eilish's
brother? Yeah.
Brother, I think, So he had a post and it said like, he's got, millions of followers or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right. This post about ICE or something had only had like a few hundred views, but then later on, like by the time this article came out that I was reading, they were like, well, we checked it now and it's got, like hundreds of thousands of views. So I think they might be like, look, there are definitely conspiracy theories out there that are true. And that's why they're conspiracy theories, because they are true. But this one, I think it's people trying to like look at things and ascribing, malignant or like
malicious behavior,
bad behavior, to something that is just really just an algorithm. And it just takes time sometimes.
And I think to assume that Oracle can take over, US TikTok and already have made adjustments to the algorithm at that granular a level seems to be unlikely to me as well, right? It feels like it's going to take some time to do something like that. So
although that said, the privacy policy definitely did change.
Yes.
So they were,
but that's a pop-up. That's text. I mean, it's like, hey, put a pop-up on the app with this text. Like, okay, that's doable versus an algorithmic change, which is pretty
okay.
major.
But still, to play devil's advocate here, that means they had lawyers working on this well in advance.
Oh, well, of course they did. Yeah.
Right. So
But
there's
you
no
can't work
reason
against
why
on the code base well in advance. You can work on a new privacy policy well in advance because you can like copy the old one, add in this stuff. Blah, blah, like that's easy. It's a text file.
I don't
But
know.
like
Maybe they could have had developers working on it in advance, or they could have
Seems
just told, Claude, but like, hey, we just took control of this thing. Just do some stuff to make it all happen.
That's fair.
Claude's pretty amazing, I gotta say.
Claude's pretty good. We're gonna talk more about Claude. That's true.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Something else that is amazing, and I'm like, oh man, I wish I hadn't just bought a new phone because I want this one now. Samsung confirms Galaxy S26 insane, quote unquote, pixel level privacy feature. So here's the thing. This is what they built, or they've kind of announced.
Yeah.
So I know you don't really use screen protectors at all. I've got a screen protector that's a privacy screen protector. So from the sides, you can't see clearly
I'm
what
not surprised
I'm doing
by
on my screen.
Yes.
Yeah, well, it's obvious that I do that.
Yeah.
The S26, what it has is built into the screen, that same kind of functionality, and you can have it turn on and off based on the app that you're using. Or if you're using, like entering a password, it can turn on for that. So that nobody, and it doesn't work just left and right from the screen, because like mine, if you're above me, you can still see the screen. This works left and right, up and down. All 4 different ways. Yeah. It is crazy. So I don't know what they built into the screen there to do this.
That's
but
wild.
That's kind of cool.
Well, and the article said it's not software based either. So it's not like using the accelerometer and do anything. It's not somehow it's not software based.
It's in the hardware. It's in the screen.
That's just crazy. I love that.
Cool.
Yeah, super cool.
Because that is honestly, it is a problem of these privacy protectors that like we have this in our family all the time. It's like, somebody will be showing somebody something else, like a picture or a photo, and they're like, I can't see it. You got to turn the phone
you have to
more,
adjust
right?
it just right.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, with this, the privacy screen would be off when you're on that kind of screen, but when you're on another screen, or when you leave the house, the privacy turns on, or whatever it is. Like I really, really like this. This is really cool. And I'm super jealous that I just bought a new phone and I'm not going to buy this anytime soon. So well.
Soon. I mean, soon's relative. All right. Amazon shutters all of its physical Go and Fresh stores. Apparently, some of them are going to become Whole Foods.
Whole Foods.
I've never been to a Go and Fresh store, so I'm cool with it. I live.
I
live in one of the parts of towns that can't afford a Go and Fresh store or a Whole Foods. We get a Sprouts because we're fancy, highfalutin like that. So, what's up, Publix, baby? How you doing?
You're not rocking the Aldi's? Is that
I got an Aldi's.
Kroger?
I got an Aldi's. Listen, my favorite one of my favorite comedians is Jimmy Carr, and somebody in like a question answer was like, asked him what he thought about Aldi's, and he was like, man, I love Aldi's. It keeps the riffraff out of all these other places. I was like, oh, that's terrible, Jimmy. Man, I personally love Aldi. It saves you some serious money. So I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
So,
I've never seen a Go and Fresh store, so
there can't be that many of them. So
doesn't really impact me,
fine.
but it would have been nice to see it at some point. A correlated story that we actually did not tag. The Amazon One, the little palm payment thing that they talked about?
Nope.
Yeah. We talked about it at one point. It's definitely in the show notes. Yeah, we did.
Okay.
So in Whole Food stores, you can actually pay with just your palm print.
Oh, yeah. I do remember that.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
And they had similar technology, I think, in the Go and the Fresh stores or whatever.
Right.
They had the people tracking and the palm, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're ending that whole thing. The whole palm paying thing, like they're done. They're ending that whole experiment. Honestly, in all of my years going into, and not that I go into Whole Foods that often anymore, but I've never seen someone pay using that palm thing.
Do the palm thing?
Yeah. Because it's weird. I mean,
weird.
I don't know. I'm not using my fingerprints for paying for stuff.
Nobody likes that.
What if somebody else has similar, or I don't know. It just, no, don't do that. But something else that people should do, because this is kind of crazy. Thermodynamic, and you're going to explain this because I don't know. I know you're not going to explain it. Thermodynamic computing.
I get the first comment. I get the first comment after you read this article title. Go.
Okay. Thermodynamic computing slashes AI image energy use, heat, may be 10 billion times as efficient for randomization.
Okay, so this falls under the category of Adam didn't understand the title of the article. So if Sanjay can please understand the content and the title of the article, it would be most appreciated. That's the disclaimer. Thank you, Sanjay. I'm the prop man. I'm setting it up so you can knock them down. So
yeah. So
what's
unfortunately,
up?
I wasn't a mechanical engineer. I did take thermodynamics, but I don't really remember that too much of it. But because I was an electrical engineer. But
Time out. Did you just casually say I did take thermodynamics? Is that like did that casually roll off your tongue like it's a normal thing?
It was a required class at Georgia Tech. It was required. I took it. I took thermo. Don't remember any of it. So basically, they have built these computational devices that use thermodynamics and basically create randomization in these things. And they've been able to make them create handwritten numbers. And and obviously that's not that impressive, but obviously this is just the beginning. But the amount of energy that it took was billionths of the amount of energy that it takes a regular artificial intelligence engine to create these things. So I think we're on a path here, which is very, very interesting. So if we can start reducing and maybe even dramatically reducing the energy consumption of AI to do some of these things, all of this energy capacity that's being built right now for these AI data centers, might be extra just by a little bit.
Okay. I like that. Okay.
So
interesting.
Could be good for all of us because right now we're all complaining about our energy prices being too high. It might be going the other way at some point, and it can't come fast enough, but hopefully it does pretty soon.
All right, next up, in this one, it ties into the next one, but we'll talk about both. Tesla is committing automotive suicide. And so
I wish the automotive part wasn't in there.
Well, there's that. Yeah. Basically what the article argues is of all of their cars, only 2 have actually been successful. And the 2 that have been successful are in decline. And that it seems that Tesla views itself as a transportation company, and likely the future of the company is only in autonomous driving vehicles, aka like robo taxis, that sort of thing, not in consumer passenger vehicles, which is interesting. I mean, it almost gets to the point of like asking the question: in 15 years, do we all just have a ride subscription to something, rather than a car itself, sort of thing? So maybe that's kind of where they're headed. What are your thoughts?
I mean, some people already have that with subway and mass transit, right? They have
that or zip cars too. I mean, right? Like,
So,
there is such a thing. That's true.
I mean, that is a thing. Here's the thing that I wonder, and I know you don't have one and I don't have one, but all those people that own Teslas right now, what are they thinking? Because if Tesla's getting out of the car business, you got a car from them that nobody's gonna really service at some point, and the value of your car is dropping pretty fast,
very quickly.
Maybe they're collector's items, and maybe that's why they'll hang on or something. But I don't know. This is like, and you know what he's gonna do? He's like, oh, this was always the idea. We were always gonna be this and that.
It was always
whatever.
That was my plan all along.
And look, this is like you done bad stuff, and a lot of people are not happy with you, and that's why your sales are declining, and now you're scrambling.
That's what I think too. I mean, I think he shot himself in the foot, and now he's trying to figure out how to get out of it. And honestly, the best way to get out of it is to go back to the Elon Musk version, let's say version 1 or version 2. There was like this admirable, crazy, wild entrepreneur, non-political. Like I like non-political Elon Musk. I could admire that guy. Political Elon Musk makes me very nervous. So.
I think it might be too late to unring that bell. I think he did too much, and there's too much videos and photos and of him doing things that are going to stick around way too long. And that's why this next story is another like, hey, can we salvage this? Elon Musk's SpaceX, Tesla, and xAI in talks to merge, according to reports. So I saw one that was about SpaceX and xAI. I think I saw a different one about Tesla and xAI.
That's right. Yes.
And it's like, so SpaceX was supposedly going to go public at some point soon. But Yeah.
And they're talking about merging prior to the IPO. And then I
Right.
saw something in the article about how if XAI merges with SpaceX, that would accomplish what Musk wants to do, which is to have data centers in space. So like that's
Right.
interesting. Though why data centers in space? That I don't know. That seems wild. Maybe it makes sense. I don't make that make sense. I don't know. Does it make sense to have data centers in space?
It does make some sense if you're
Okay.
collecting data up there instead
Okay.
of downlinking all the
Oh, I
data
see.
to
I
process
see.
it on the
Okay.
ground.
I
You do it
see.
up there.
That
And
makes
then
sense. Okay.
Then you downlink the intelligence and not the data.
Yes. Got it.
Which is
Okay,
less.
Okay.
It's
Now
more
that does make
refined.
sense. Okay. Got
So,
it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it does make sense. And especially if we do go down the path, which I think humanity eventually will too, of colonizing other planets and
Yeah.
satellites.
Yeah.
And then there's data that's coming back and data that needs to be transferred. And the
Yeah.
more that you can manipulate the data and do the processing along the way, instead of waiting for it to get down to Earth and then do all the processing, the quicker you can deal with stuff and be able to analyze the data that's coming in the first place. So
Yeah. Okay.
it's interesting. I think if I'm a shareholder of any of these things, it's like, oh boy, this is a tough pill to swallow.
It's gonna be
all
tough.
of this stuff, but
Yeah.
that is the star that you have hitched your wagon to.
That is.
And
That is. Yeah.
It
That
is
Yeah.
either going supernova or it's going black hole. I think those are two opposites. Maybe
Are
the
they?
same thing. I
Or
have
does
no
one
idea.
lead to the other? I thought
think-
one led to the other.
I think it does actually.
Yeah.
So black hole time.
It's just
is
a
what's
question of
coming.
where you're at in the life cycle, right? Is the supernova already
Exactly.
gone and it's now turning into the black hole, right?
Exactly.
All right. Well, last
Talking
time before
about-
Weird and Wacky.
Yeah, before Weird and Wacky. Yeah, we got one more.
Oh yeah. So Amazon is reportedly in talks to invest $50 billion in OpenAI. Apparently, OpenAI is currently valued at $500 billion, and it wants to raise another $100 billion at I think it was like an $800 and something billion valuation for a company that's still losing money. I mean, it wasn't that long ago where $1 billion valuation.
AI.
Yeah, but
AI.
it's still losing money, but it's valued at $800+ billion. I mean, it's not long ago that $1 billion valuation was insane, and not long ago that Apple was barely worth $1 trillion. Like, what is happening in the world?
Now they're all. I haven't looked at them lately, but they're all multi-trillion.
Oh yeah,
those companies.
Oh,
And
yeah.
everything. It's like, oh, there's another one that's now $1 trillion. Company
yeah. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
whatever, and yeah.
What do you do when you have a startup? Because OpenAI is still kind of technically a startup that's valued at $1 trillion. You're not a unicorn at that point. What are you? Like, what's more rare than a unicorn? That's what I'd like to know.
Well, so decacorn is when it's 10 billion.
Okay.
So it would be a centacorn would be 100 billion,
Right. Okay.
and 1,000 is
1,000 billion.
a kilocorn.
A kilocorn. Oh,
be a
kilocorn.
kilocorn?
I like that.
Kilocorn, yeah.
There
you go.
A kilocorn. I love that we just figured. Wait, not we. I love that you just figured that out.
Time for the Weird and Wacky segment.
Abominable snowman.
He's not an axe murderer.
One of the TAs turned out to be a bot.
All right, Sanjay, introduce us to your next pair of footwear.
It's not going to be mine. I'm buying it as a present for you. Behold, the Lego and Crocs footwear collab that dreams are made of. Dreams meaning dreams
Nightmares,
of how you
horrifying.
wear them and fall and trip and
Or
slip.
get made fun of mercilessly, right?
Exactly.
Also
that.
possible. Yeah.
So basically, listeners, you got to go and click on the article to really appreciate
Mhm.
the insanity of these
The
things.
tragedy. The
The
tragedy.
tragedy of
Yes.
these things. They're
Mhm.
basically big, giant Lego blocks.
Yeah.
on your
feet. Yeah. Well, have you also seen the new Nikes that are basically glorified Crocs? Like that's a thing too
No.
now. Yeah, Nike has like some I forget what they tried to call them, like super futuristic something, or I don't even know. And it's just glorified Crocs. I like uglier than Crocs, if that's even possible.
Is that a thing?
somehow? Yeah, like go look them up. Like the Nike version of Crocs. Like they're horrifying. I mean, they're maybe not as horrifying as a Lego on your foot, but they're not far from it.
Here's the big miss of these Crocs.
Okay.
It's a huge miss. I don't think I haven't seen the bottom of them, but I don't think they have like the divots
Oh,
to
come
let
on.
you
You gotta have the
stack
divots.
these.
Of course, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Like you got to be able to use these as building blocks. It's a huge miss.
that is a huge miss. Yeah.
I need to be a shoe designer. I think.
You should be. I mean, you should really design all kinds of things. Really,
I
not
think
just
so.
shoes, but like like everything, basically.
Tech wreck, tech wreck. Time to get your tech wreck.
Tech wreck. Chicky.
Tech wreck. Time to get your tech wreck.
All right, Sanjay, Tech Rick time. What do you have for us this week?
So, okay. There was a thing that happened this week that got super popular and super traction, which was this thing called Claudebot.
Yeah, I saw that. Right. I was going to ask you about it. Okay, tell me about it.
So Claudebot got renamed. Well, that's not my tech rec. Claudebot got renamed Moltbot. Moltbot got renamed OpenClaw. But here's basically what this thing is. It's a gateway that connects to different AI engines and your own documents, and it runs local to you in your house or wherever.
Okay.
But there has been some concern about security issues around this.
I would imagine so, yeah.
So I tried it out real quick, and I got to say, it was kind of a bear to set up and everything, and I was a little worried about it too, so I got rid of it.
Right.
So I started searching around, like, look, is there anything else that I could use for something like this? And I stumbled upon this thing that is, I kind of think, glorious. It's called Anything LLM.
Okay.
It runs on Mac, it runs on Windows, and it runs on Linux. Okay. Here's the one killer feature that I know, Adam, you're going to love, and you're going to go download this right away.
Already
Anything
on the site.
LLM has a meeting assistant that, remember granola, how we talk about it all the time?
Yeah.
It's that, except it runs local to you. And it does all of the things, and you can actually pick different LLMs to use, and you can give it access to your files. You can give it all that stuff. It will run all that analysis on your machine. You don't have to send your documents or stuff anywhere else. And so you have visibility into like all of that stuff that you want, and the safety, because it's all local to you. Now, here's the interesting thing. Like, I started looking at their video about the meeting assistant, and it's super cool. So if you have a meeting, and let's say you're a software developer, you're having meetings, you can hook it into your GitHub. And if during the meeting you say like, oh yeah, we need to create an issue on GitHub for this thing so that we do this, after the meeting's done and it analyzes this, it will actually pull out the to-dos, and it'll tell you the to-dos that came out of the meeting that it can do. And you can click run, and it will go and do those things on those services without you having to do anything.
Dang. That's crazy.
It's super, super cool. And so I'm pretty impressed. It's pretty user-friendly. It's not like Moltbot, Claudebot, OpenClaw now.
Right.
It's pretty user-friendly. You just download it. It'll install the LLMs itself. You tell it which ones you want. It has a long list of them. You can give it files. You can give it whatever you want and ask it questions around that stuff. There is a way, and I haven't figured out how to do it yet, but there's a way to interface it with Obsidian. So then you could actually ask it stuff about Obsidian as well.
I like that. I like that.
And you don't have to worry about your stuff going outside of your home, outside of your machine.
But like, who built it? And I mean, and how do you know it's not pushing data out somewhere that you don't know about? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and if you're not paying for the product, you are the product, right? So like all of those things fly into my mind about about this, right?
So true, a lot of times. This is an open source project, so there's a lot of people working on it. I think that's where you are the product. A lot of times that actually ends up falling apart when it's open source, because it's people that are very passionate about it and in creating a product for everybody. So I just clicked over to GitHub. There's 193 contributors to this. And you're concerned about it sending data somewhere else. I think is a lot less when you have a lot of eyes on it like this. There was actually, interestingly enough, there was actually a one-person Linux distribution that just got flagged in the last day or two that had a backdoor into the developer's like server. Like, they could backdoor into anybody that installed this operating system.
Mm,
And so that's a huge deal. So
right.
I think when you have a lot of different people that are
Looking
using
at
something
it.
like this,
Yeah. Okay.
I think it ends up being a lot safer. This thing will interface with Claude. It'll interface with ChatGPT, OpenAI. It'll interface with all those things if you want it to.
Huh.
But I think it's really, really well done. They've got these vector databases. They've got a lot of stuff. And you can just do as much or as little as you want with this thing, but you can run it completely locally. I've been running it on my Windows desktop. And look, it's not super fast
Yeah.
for me, like compared to online ones, because I don't
Right.
have all that computing power.
Right.
But a lot of times when I have LLMs doing stuff for me, like I'm not sitting there waiting for it to do it.
Yeah,
I
you
just tell it and I
kick
do
it
other
off.
things.
Yeah. Okay.
And so
All
check it
right.
out.
I'll
Yeah,
mess with it. All right. That's a good idea. All right. Cool.
there you go.
Hmm.
What about you, Adam? What do you got for us this week?
If anyone's not already, get on Substack. I have been diving more and more into Substack as a community, and I really love it. So there's kind of two areas of Substack. One is the Substack post, so that's like the longer newsletter. You get them via email sort of deal, and those are great. And subscribe to ones and whatever else. But Substack notes is kind of like old school Twitter, except without all of the new school garbage. And so it's pretty great. And there's a lot of thoughtful people saying and sharing thoughtful things on there and communicating and collaborating. And it's somewhat wholesome to a degree in a way. So, I'm just going to recommend Substack notes in particular, I guess, if I have to like really hone in.
Yeah.
Give it a shot. See what you think.
Yeah.
So
I love it. I love it.
yeah, that's my take. All right, Sanjay, how can our listeners find and connect with you?
They can find me at sanjayparekh.com. What about you, Adam?
You can find me on my website, adamjwalker.com. I think they can also find me at adamwalker.substack.com. That might be better based on is it Adam Walker? Yeah, adamjwalker.substack.com. I should know that. adamjwalker.substack.com. Go there. So.
J is for the jiggy. So.
J for genius. So.
J for genius.
I knew that would get you. But why are you laughing?
I was thinking of a joke.